Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, and we are back with another beat breakdown. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my Young Thug Metro Boomin type beat that I titled No Reasons. If you haven't heard it, I'll put a link in the description below where you can go check that out. But also, I will just play y'all a little sample on top of that so y'all can hear the beat, just get a little feel for it. And then we're going to break down the beat and tell you some things I did to make this beat and some techniques that you can put to get the same type of sound as I did in this beat. So here we go. Whoa, wrong one. Alright, so there you go. You see it has that nice little dark trap sound, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm going to show you some techniques that I went through in order to get this type of sound that you are hearing today. So we're going to start off with the first sound, which is just a simple Nexus piano. Nothing special. Here's the preset. It's in the, actually, my bad, a Nexus pad. It's in the single layer pads, and it's this ambient pad one, just the default one, the first one. So it's not a special pad, nothing special to it. The chords I did were kind of unusual, like really not chords, but I just kind of just randomly played stuff. So as you can see, it's not even like really any thought even going into this. It's just some weird chords play, but when you hear it played, that's the pattern. Let's turn off the glitch effects so we don't hear that. There we go. Really, I just kind of plugged and played. With this one, I didn't really play them out. I just was hitting notes. I just plugged them in, and it just gave it kind of a weird sound to it. So it just really, the low notes are all like sharp notes, and then the high ones have a few like flat notes, white keys with a couple of black keys in it. Just give it that dark feel. I try to make it kind of a minor sounding sound, but there was really no thought processing going into that. And then I just kind of put it into the parametric EQ, and I cut the lows and I cut some of the highs just to give it slightly different sound. Here go before and after. With the EQ, it makes it a little bit more focused in. You know me, I love my high pass and low pass filters because it just changes the sound dramatically depending on what you do and what you use it for. Next, I'm using this silent lead. Just out of a patch I got. I forgot what bank this is. I think it's one of Johnny Giuliano's kits that I bought or whatever, blah blah. But I don't know which one it was. But I just got it. It's a cool little. Nice little weird crying lead, and I just kind of did a basic like minor. Just made like a simple little, lead ride or whatever, just to kind of add some flavor to it. So if you hear it. And, I could have had like overlapped the notes and add some glide to it. But I want it to be like more sharp sounding, so. I mean, sometimes you want the notes to glide, sometimes you don't. And this beat in particular, I didn't. And for the lead, I didn't do nothing with it, just the plain Jane sound. Go to show you that sometimes, like I say, if the sound sounds good, don't try to mess with it because you can damage the sound. Next, this is one of the OVO kits. This is the OVO kit 3, the one that Sound Empires did that I, helped with. And this is a key sound. So one of our kits, and then, I just play like a nice little pattern with it. And some very, very high notes. It's like in the 7th octave. So very high notes. And as you see, I color coordinated everything too. So a lot of people asking that. If you want to know how to do that, you just right click, change the name and color coordinate everything. Because I find now color coordinating everything makes it a whole lot easier to find where you at. So there's that. And then I layered it with another synth sound. I don't know what pack this was out of. Ain't no telling. But I just layered these two sounds together. So here's the layered sound. And then I pan both of them. I pan one to the left and one to the right, so it has that stereo feel. So, oh, hold on 1 second. Boop boop. And there we go. Because by themselves they sound all right, but together. So layering sounds is a really good way to enhance, the sound you already got. Just adding, pretty much taking the same pattern, getting a similar sound, but change it up, tweak it, and then pan it left and right, give it some of that stereo feel, and it just makes it sound like a whole new sound. And then on top of that, when you're doing like your sequencing, you can break it down by using one side whenever you sequence it. I think in my beat, I had one part with the left ear and then one with the right ear, and it just sequenced up. It just sounded really good. Get out. That. There you go. All right, the next is the Nexus piano. This is where the Nexus piano come in. Piano, the Netherworld's piano. It's a nice piano. But really it sounds like this. Nice sounding piano. Nexus is a really good plug, especially with trap beats. But I want to give it some more flavor, so I added this delay to it. So it's like a weird crackling, just crazy delay. And it's just the stock fruity delay bank. Just here go my set. I'll leave it right here so you can check out my settings real quick. So you check out them, add them in there. Okay, gone now. Boom, too bad. And that just gives that flavor. And then the pattern is just nothing special. Just like a low note. It's just a low note right here. Just like a low kind of go down. And I'm just playing like higher notes. Like really higher notes, and play it together. Sounds like this. It would sound like play together. Now the delay really makes it sound like something. Without the delay, it doesn't sound eerie and dark enough. So that delay really enhances that, dark sounding, trap sounding, you'll hear from a Metro Boomin type beat, or, Young Thug or Travis Scott or something like that. So. And we automatically give like a little bounce to go along with it. So yeah. Next is the snares. The snares, I actually layered 3 different snares. Here's the first snare. Here's the second snare. The third snare. Let me do this. So 3 snares, put in 1. I mixed them right up in here. I first did my initial mix right here to blend them together. Then I routed them all to the same channel. So to route to this snare channel right here. Added some little bit of low pass. Mostly this right here, I did that mostly high cut to cut a lot of that high frequency. Then just added the fruity reverb too. I like this new enhanced GUI they got too with FL Studio with some of the plugins. But yeah, this new enhanced, just add a little bit of reverb just to give it that, I cut some of the lows right here. I left the highs alone, cut some lows, amplified the sound, put the diffusion up, and then that's pretty much it, and brought down some of the wetness so it has that overset. Without it, it sounds like this. And with it, just sounds more in your face and pumping. Next up is the hi-hats, and there's 2 different hi-hats. Here's the first hi-hat, and here's the second hi-hat. Now what I did, this is the cool thing. Y'all know what I normally do when I put it in here, I Alt-R, and that brings up the randomizer. But this time, instead of just doing the panning, also turns up this pitch right here. So that's gonna change the pitch up so you listen to it. Let me play it. So with that enabled, it makes the pitch go weird too. So you can hear the pitch is changing on top of the panning. And then what I did was I added another hi-hat. Did the same thing, pretty much just copied and pasted at that point. And then I went to the delay right here, added some feedback. If you don't know how to do that, when you click on the actual sound, bring up this, go to the little ratchet tool right here, wrench or whatever you want to call it. Go to the feedback. I brought down the 2 echoes, and then I just messed with the timing. You gotta just depend on what your tempo is, depending on what the time is gonna be. And then with that, added with this, it sounds like this. Just gives it a whole new kind of unique sounding hi-hat sound, which I'm probably gonna be using for beats to come. So next on is the cymbal, the open hi-hat. Nothing special right there. Just an open hi-hat, nothing special. We'll come back to the 808s to kick next. This little chant sound, boop boop. Little chant, I like this chant. Just add some delay to it. And I like to use the delay from here sometimes. You can't use a delay from like FL Studio or any delay VST you have, but I like to use delay right here because it's quick, easy, and you can pretty much get a good sounding delay. So, that's what I like about FL Studio. There's just parameters in it that you don't really have to, you can mix it before you actually start mixing it, if that makes any sense to anybody. So here it is. And this sounds pretty cool. Next, I went to Gladiator and found this cool little arpeggiator. And you know me, when I get stuff like this, I like to tweak it a little bit. So I added some filtering and cuts. I can't go through everything I did because really you just got to play around with it and shape the sound to make it sound unique so it don't sound the same. And pretty much what I did right here is I just took the same pattern as this Nexus one up here, and I just shortened it. I just copied and pasted that pattern, and that gives it this sound right here. Let me go ahead and mute it so you can hear. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. I haven't used ARPs in a long time, but I decided this beat needed it. And what I did is also putting the parametric EQ2, and I just boop doop cut a lot. Like this would sound like before. Sound like it's give it kind of that telephone effect. Then I added the love filter, which I love the love filter. If you just right click right here, the twinkle preset, and that would just make it go from left to right in your speakers as you're hearing. Before it sounded like this. Straight down the middle, like in mono, and then when you put it on there, it moves through the stereo field of your monitors or your headphones or whatever you listen to. And that just gives it a cool effect, just gives it that kind of moving type of ARP synth sound. Next is another Nexus, and I went to the Omicron expansion, and this right here, this Plastic Man, which really you can make this sound in almost any VST. It's just simple saw wave and stuff with some glide, but I didn't feel like making it. So I just used Nexus, and I just did another lead. I think it's the same lead as the first one. I'm just letting it glide into each other. So and like I said, once again, it's at that high octave, because the higher, like the low sounding sound with the higher sounding sound just make it sound like eerie, creepy, dark. And that's, like I said, that's the whole point of this type of beat. Like you want to make sure you sound match and you'll pick the right sounds to match with, you know, what the sound you're trying to get. So really pay attention to the type of sound that you pick when you are doing certain beats. Next, we go to the kick drum, the kick drum, the kick drum, the kick drum. Nice beefy sounding kick. How'd I get that? It's actually kind of interesting. First, I add just a little bit of fruity distortion. Yes, I add distortion to my kick drum, because before it sounds like this. Oh, just sounds kind of cheesy sounding, but with a little distortion. Now we got a little thump, a little presence, a little boost in it. And like I say, adding distortion to your kicks is not a bad thing. Just don't overdo it and make it to where it just sounds like gross. So be careful there. Then I added a EQ, and I just cut the lows. I cut some of the lows, and I cut a little bit of highs to taste. There is no right or wrong way to do it. You got to do it to your taste and your sound. So before and after. Here's before, after. See how that distortion really, see, take away distortion, it sounds like flat. Woo, just simple. And then I use my secret weapon, the Transient Master. Great for kicks and percussion. This is like, if you got the UAD one or this is native instrument ones, this is a must-have for kicks, snares, any kind of percussive instruments. This is a must. I mean, it really puts that sound in the mix wherever you want. So I brought it more, the attack pretty much either brings it farther back in the mix or closer into the mix, and the sustain gives it more reverb or less reverb in theory. So with and without it. And you see it's loud, crunchy, pumping, and it's not distorting whatsoever. And I love that sound. So if I take all the effects off, you can hear it without no effects. Crappy little kick. Beefy. And that's what we want. Last but not least is the 808. And this is a simple little 808. Add a little bit of distortion to it. So without the distortion. And you know me, I love my distortion with my 808s. Distortion just make 808s sound better. And plus, for speakers with not a lot of bass response, adding some distortion and upper harmonics will make it be able to be heard in those really bass limited speakers like computer speakers and laptop speakers and, you know, earbuds, like cheap little earbuds and stuff. And then next, just a little EQ, just cutting some of the high harmonics. Make it sound more focused. No, and that's pretty much it. Then I just side chain it to my kick as usual. Side chain to my kick. So anytime the kick hits, the 808 ducks behind it. So and if you notice, my kicks and my 808s actually don't hit on the same time, because Metro Boomin, his kicks and 808s don't hit on the same note all the time. They have this, like sometimes the kick will hit in the 808 and they just hit in different timing, so it gives it a little bit more of a bounce to it when you listen to it. And that's one thing that, you know, his style, if you listen to a lot of his beats, like a lot of his beats, his style is doing that. Like if you hear him, I mean, just listen. I mean, if you want to make the sounds, you gotta listen to it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just rambling on there. But anyway, now here comes the fun part. After you sequence it, how'd I get that cool little intro effect? People want to know. A lot of people ask me that. This right here. Oh, it would help if I turn everything back on, wouldn't it, people?
This is different.
Oh, let's enable the effect first. Here we go. That's just a cool little trap thing a lot of people do, but pretty much that's just gross beats. It's actually 2 gross beats, not just one. The first gross beats is set to, if you put in gross beats and you go to pitch shifter, you have this right here. And usually you just pick if you want it 12 times, 8 times, 4 times. I like to use 4 times. I think 12 just sounds too crazy. 8's all right, but 4 is my favorite.
This is different.
And then to get that kind of weird stop and go type effect, I guess you can call it, you put in another gross beats. And if you right click once again, you go right here under, it's the third one. And it's right here, slow triplet. And that's how you get that sound. And then you just make your automation clips. If you don't know how to do that, you just highlight where you want. You go here, you right click, automation, and it makes an automation clip. And then you just pretty much adjust it how you want it to come in and whatever. And I had this to where it kind of started and then just gently gravitated off, instead of having just like abruptly cut real quick. And that's just how you get that sound. But remember, always right click. Well, in this case, you don't have to because it's at the beginning of the beat. So you don't have to start with the right click or start with initial position. Unless you're doing like somewhere in the middle, you definitely want to do that, because so it won't just be on the whole time through the beat. It'll actually be off until it gets to wherever your automation clip starts. So that's pretty much it. And when it comes to mastering this beat, I didn't do nothing special. I just used my Fat Filter Pro L when it wants to come up. Just use my Pro L as a mastering tool, give it a little bit of gain, and that's pretty much it. And then that's my Sonos reference headphone. I'll do a review on that because a lot of people ask me about this. They want to know what this is and how to benefit. And I'll actually explain what this is in a separate video, because this is a pretty good plug-in that, you know, I think everybody should buy, you know. Like I said, I paid for it. I love it. And I'll tell you what it does in another video. But anyway, that's pretty much it. How you get this sound. Like I said, very simple. Nothing special. Like I said, just basically just typical trap stuff. Like I said, it's nothing mind blowing. I mean, a lot of people think this stuff is rocket science, but it's not. It's just simple stuff. And just really the main thing on beats like this is your sounds. That's what's going to make or break your beats. Like, it's the sounds you pick. Like, you can't have these cheesy, garbage free VST sounds. You need some high quality sounds. So Gladiator Nexus, Silent, you know, some good kick drums, some good kicks and stuff like that. And just knowing FL Studio on top of it. Because I use pretty much all FL Studio plugins to make this beat. So that goes to show you don't need these third party, you know, VSTs to make sounds like this, which I wish I can get across to a lot of people, but I can't. So, but hey, hopefully you'll get that. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Got any questions, please leave a comment in the description below, and I'll definitely try to get back to you as soon as I can. You know, hope y'all have a happy New Year's, because, you know, it's coming up. We're going to enjoy that. We're going to go into 2016 strong. I'm going to have some new videos, giveaways, and stuff like that, like I promised from the beginning of the year. So be on the lookout for that. So if you ain't subscribed, you need to. But y'all know who it is. Your boy Slim, a.k.a. Mr. Different, Mr. Not Motivated by the Likes. Not motivated by the money, but the likes, comment, subscribe, and views. And I shall see y'all in the next video. So please share, thumb it up, comment, leave me a message, whatever. Let's talk. Let's get this. Let's make more hits, you know, so continue making hits, people. So with that being said, I shall see y'all in the next one. Have a good one.